Yeah.
But regardless, that's what stand your ground is. It's if you're standing on the street and someone's coming at you at a knife, should you have to run away first, or since that person's coming at you at a knife, do you have the right to pull your gun and defend yourself?
Uh, so stand your ground.
Jacob looks excited. Let Jacob go. He looks excited.
Yeah.
So I fully agree with duty to retreat. Stand your ground, though. Considering my wife straight up told me that her dad told her, like, if she ever felt threatened, to just shoot the person and say that you were fear for your life.
Yep, I was told the same thing.
I solely do not agree with that. And then so a lot of people I know after the Kenosha, that's it.
Kenosha, yeah.
They're all like, oh, he was defending himself, he was standing his ground. Like, before I actually watched the video, because I watched it and didn't feel anything because I've been desensitized to violence. But anyways, after watching
military
the video,
will do that too.
Yeah,
Right.
Watching the video, the kid actually, even though he was definitely wasn't supposed to be there, he did try to retreat.
Mm-hmm.
He was fully within because Wisconsin doesn't have a standard ground law, but he did try to retreat. He was trying to run away from all three people that he shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with duty to retreat. I do not agree with stand your ground.
You do not agree?
Because people will take advantage of that.
So my argument for it though is what happens when you have someone you know that you're not going to be able to outrun. You have a lot better chance of getting off an accurate shot facing them than you do trying to turn and shoot. If I'm facing someone running at me, and if I know that there's a possibility it's going to get to the point I may need to pull my gun on them, it's much better if I can just pull it out right then versus if I'm running and they're catching up to me. By the time you're retreating and you're at the point, oh, I need to pull my gun, then they're on top of you already.
That 21-foot rule, yeah.
That's true.
And so from what I have seen and researched, and I might not be right, so if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, was that he was in an argument with someone and the guy pushed him, or he pushed the guy, and then what I heard is that he punched someone and then ran away.
So I watched an 11-minute video that showed, and more videos have surfaced since then. But this was about a day. This is about 2 days afterwards, and it showed every single cell video recording of it at the time. From what I saw in the first shooting, is they were getting his words. He starts chasing him. I don't remember if he actually pushed him, but the dude starts chasing him and basically saying that he was going to hurt him. Everyone's saying threw a Molotov cocktail. It was not a Molotov cocktail. It was a bag.
Plastic bag.
It was a bag. Yeah.
But he throws the bag at him. But the part where I see stand your ground comes in is, A, he didn't have many places to run. B, the guy caught up to him very quickly. And C, he got caught in between two cars, and because he was near a parking lot, he got caught between two cars. And so he kind of ran out of space to run. So for the first shooting, I think that was stand your ground. Now, we can argue whether or not stand your ground is good or not, but the first one I say stand your ground. The second and third shooting, he allegedly had already called the police and said, I just shot someone, and then he was headed towards the barricade. And
yeah.
Yeah, I say allegedly.
An article came out. It was a buddy of his that he called.
Oh, was it a buddy? Okay. But
okay.
Regardless, he was running, so the facts will come out there. Because, again, I said allegedly because we obviously don't know until we start seeing the actual trial.
Yeah.
But he starts running towards the police barricade, at which point you can hear someone screaming, "That dude just shot someone!" And you can hear the dude. There's actually a dude in a white. He wasn't one that got shot, but he's in a white undershirt that chases him and tries to punch him in the back of the head. Dude takes another 3 steps or something, falls to the ground, and due to training, I assume, instead of trying to stand up, he turns and prepares because he knows that he's got people chasing him. At which point, one guy comes at him and starts kicking him, like he basically drop kicks him. And then that's the dude he ended up shooting in the stomach. And the other guy tries to hit him with a skateboard, and that's the guy he took off his arm.
Right.
At which point everyone backed away. You can hear gunshots that weren't fired by him. It was fired by other people in the crowd. Again, showing that most gun owners don't have decent accuracy. Because like you can hear probably like 7-8 shots and nothing happens. At which point he then ran behind the police line. So as far as that case goes, from the videos that I saw, those are what can be seen. Everyone's interpretation may be different, but that is what can be seen in the way that the events played out per the videos that were out at the time.
So I don't agree with Kyle Rittenhouse as a person. I don't think he should have been there. But I do believe that Stand Your Ground has its own purpose. So I do have to stand behind the Stand Your Ground because I believe that, because like you said, sometimes you can, or sometimes you just run out of time. Like the argument can be made that he could have run over the cars or jumped over the cars, but like I mean, like when you're in that situation and your adrenaline is pumping and your heart is going 150 beats per second or per minute, sorry, like you might not even be able to conceive of that as a route. Like you have to think about what you have with you right then and what you're able to do. And in that moment, he had his gun. The guy was chasing him, and he had, the thought, I have to shoot this guy. I'm not saying I support it. I'm not saying that I am defending him as a person, because I'm not. But in that moment, if that was Stand Your Ground, that was legally permissible.
Yeah, which I don't want anyone who's watching this or will be watching this or anything, I don't want you to think that we are specifically talking about this, because we're not. We're only talking about it because it came up, and it's in the news everywhere. What we're talking is policy. We're not trying to specify examples. We're not trying to...
We're not talking morals.
Yeah, we're not talking morals. We're not trying to do that. We're saying what should be the law. And that just happens to be the most recent example. No one's defending. No one's attacking him. This is what happened. It could be argued Stand Your Law. If it is Stand Your Law, whether or not it was permissible. Which... which I think both of you may agree, all Stand Your Ground laws, I think, should be investigated. I don't think that they should immediately bring charges to the person, because I have seen situations where they immediately bring charges to the person, and then they investigate afterwards. I think that if at the time, it can be reasonably proven to be a valid Stand Your Ground, I think that it should just be a basic investigation, and it shouldn't necessarily disrupt the person's life outside of the fact that they just took someone's life, which that in itself is going to disrupt their life. I think that when it comes down to it, if it's found that they were the instigator, that Stand Your Ground should be null and void because they forced themselves into that situation. But I think that it would be it should be investigated on a case-by-case basis, but ultimately Stand Your Ground, I think, is way better than having a duty to retreat if it is truly a valid threat. If someone's coming at you without a weapon or anything and they're just getting in your face, that's not Stand Your Ground. But if you fear for your life and it looks like they're about to use deadly force, I think it should be 100%.
Stand Your Ground, especially with the king in your own castle thing. I do stand behind it, and I believe that it exists for a reason, and it should continue to exist.
I think I'm going to change my opinion and go with Stand Your Ground now that you've actually pointed out those good points, very valid points, that I am terrible shape because I don't really work out as much as I used to. So I'm not a fast runner at all. So yeah, no, I'll definitely stand my ground if I know that person's going to be able to outrun me. So no, I agree.
Yeah, and then Tinkerbell brought up the good point that you don't necessarily have to have a weapon to cause harm. So I mean, I'll recant that, saying that it really should just be situational entirely.
Throw punches do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but like if someone was just running towards you without, I think you just said that because if someone's just running towards me, you have no evidence to support you pulling a gun on them. Whereas if someone is running towards you like this with a knife, that's obviously a much stronger case. So I think that was just an easy comparison for you.